Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Bill Leverty. Do you want to say hi?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. You caught me off guard. I was actually just taking a sip of my green tea.
No,
hello, Missy. Thank you so much for having me on your show. This is wonderful.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you. I have to tell you that every time I research an artist, I always look for really fun things that captivate me. And there were so many things on your website that intrigued me and so many things about you personally. And so I hope I don't run over on time for you, but there's a lot that I want to talk about. And number one, you have been with Firehouse for how long now?
What time is it?
Yeah.
That was a joke. Well, I'm a founding member. The band used to be called White Heat.
Mm-hmm.
We needed a drummer. We auditioned about 30 of them. We got this guy named Michael Foster, who was the best of the best of the best, who could also sing really well. He and I have been playing since 1984 together. In 1986 or 87, we got together with C.J. Sneer to be our lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
And the next year, Perry Richardson joined up with us. Then we got our record deal. Then we had to change our name to Firehouse. So it's evolved since 1984. So that's the long answer. The short answer is a long time.
Right. No, and I mean, in your bio, if any of the fans, go and they read your bio, they're going to get an amazing story from you. And all of the albums that you have out yourself as a solo artist as well, it's quite incredible. And you have a current single out, and it's titled Strong. I've been listening to it over and over and over, and I absolutely love it. How has it been for you doing both your solo stuff and then also, working with being Firehouse?
Well, it's fun. It's easy. I mean, the guys in the band, we do our thing, and then when I come home, most of our touring with Firehouse is in the summer, although we still tour in the winter as well, but we're busier in the summer, so. Mm-hmm. And we're busier on the weekends generally. So during the week, stay busy. I write songs and I record other people as well. I mix other artists too from, around here or other countries or whatever. They'll FTP me the files and I'll mix them. But, I just kind of stay busy, and some of the songs I write fit my style of as a solo artist, which isn't that far removed from Firehouse. It's a little bit more southern, a little bit more bluesy as a general rule, although I like a little bit of everything, so I do a little bit of everything, but there's really no working by committee with doing my thing. I just go in and pick at it and work at it and kind of sculpt it on my own time and do it at my own pace, and I don't have to make sure vote on whether we should do the 4 bars at the bridge or just 2-bar bridge, or whether the solo needs to be shortened or whatever. I just do whatever I want, and that's the way it is. It's kind of fun that way.
Absolutely. I mean, you seem so busy. When I was reading everything, I thought, oh my gosh, how does this man do everything? I mean, you're doing everything. You're working on people's music. You produce, you mix, like you said, and it's just. I was just inspired. I'm like, wow, I can't believe you are able to accomplish all of these things. And, then you've done something really, really, really amazing and creative. And I don't know if you've thought about it this way, but for me, hearing about you doing guitar lessons via Skype, that is really unique, and that's really incredible. And my point of view on that is, I don't know if you realize how many other people you can offer lessons to by doing it via Skype, because there are a lot of people who have to be isolated from the rest of the population. I've had to live that with my son and all of his special needs being in and out of the hospital. So did you ever consider that by you offering that, you were able to reach a whole different group of people that wouldn't ordinarily be able to have lessons?
I hadn't considered it in that way, but that definitely that's a great point. I thought of it as if I can't get people from Japan to come over to the house here and sit down for a lesson, then we can connect to this way. And and it's a great way to do it. I mean, I get people who say, "Will you please just show me how to do the riff to Shake and Tumble or whatever?"
Right.
And I can sit there and show them exactly how I do it, or how I did it back then, and maybe how I do it now, how I learned to do it a little easier or whatever.
Right.
And so, and then they may go, "Hey, how do you approach doing a solo when it's a major key chord progression or something like that?" And that's a different approach for everybody. And so I'll kind of give them my view of the fretboard and kind of how I look at it, and my perspective. And granted, I don't have many of the answers, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of really much better guitar players out there than me, but I have the way that I do it, and some people want to kind of how I do it. So that's what I have to offer, and I appreciate you mentioning that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that was my first thought. I mean, being in the community that I'm in with, special needs parents and children, there's a lot of things that are not in their reach. And so when I saw this, I just immediately thought, wow, this is really incredible. I mean, you have children's hospitals all over the country, and you have these kids that are stuck in their rooms and they can't leave outside. But, music is a huge interest. So this is something that I think is really great. And I think that, a lot of the, children there can benefit from it. A lot of anybody can benefit from it. There's a lot of people who are stuck in their homes and can't really get out. So that's immediately where I went with it. But I was very excited when I saw that, because you don't see that all the time. I've never seen that offered before via Skype. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I've never personally seen it. So for me, that just was really touching, for me to see that. And I wanted to thank you, because, there are so many people out there who definitely will benefit from that. And I think that's great.
Well, thank you for that. I need to kind of tweet that out. I haven't been kind of slack on telling people about that, because I've been kind of focused on other stuff. But I like doing a few a day. It's a lot of fun, and it makes me a better player and a better communicator. And guitar lessons are good for not only the student, but for the teacher too. It's
exactly,
it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. I think music is just absolutely key for anybody's, life. I think it helps in so many areas. I think that's the only time your brain is actually working at full capacity, is when you're, playing music. And I mean, you're reading and you're playing, and you have everything is involved. So I think it's really great. I think music needs to stay in schools and all of that, but that's a whole nother subject.
Well, I'll just interject real quick and say that, I have been trying to practice a lot lately in my time in my studio, and I came up with the analogy that it's kind of like my version of doing Sudoku or crossword puzzles, because within the fretboard of the guitar and the 6 strings are encrypted all these different little patterns and different little scales and shapes and chords and all these little things that you can discover and you can kind of pull out. And that's kind of, my way of trying to keep my brain active. So
absolutely,
it's a good thing. I enjoy going to work.
That's great. Me too. I absolutely love it. And I was looking at your gallery on your website. I love to look at people's photos, because it kind of gives you like an insight to what they've been up to, and things that they've had, and you get to see their memories. And so a few of your photos really stood out to me, and I thought, okay, there's got to be a story behind this. So one of the ones that stood out to me the most was your picture with Tom Green. Where were you that you met Tom Green, and was he super funny? Was he serious? Because he can go either way. I've seen him go either way. So how was that for you?
He was really cool. I just walked up to him and I said, "Man, I'm a huge fan." I met him in Las Vegas at a radio convention where I was promoting a Firehouse record. And he was, I don't know what he was promoting, but he was walking around, and he was familiar with the band, and he was really cool. And I said, "Do you mind if I take a picture?" And he said, "Hey, not at all. I'd love to." And took a picture, and I thought he looked really so much like Tom Green,
Right.
And I think of, how he's funny, he like you say, he's serious, and he's cool, and he's kind of different, and all that rolled into one. That picture really captured that. But he was really nice. It was a brief encounter, but
right.
you know, I've had them where you meet people that you really admire, and they kind of blow you off. Not at all with him. He was like, "Come on over here, let's get a picture."
Right.
So
that was him. That's great. I love hearing stories like that. And I had to know because Tom Green is known to do several charity events as well, you know, and he just did an autism benefit, you know, a comedy show recently that one of our staffers covered. So that was really cool too. But when I saw that picture, I was like, okay, I have to ask. I need to know. But then you have pictures with some of my favorites, and I'm not even, okay, my absolute favorite was John Bon Jovi. And you have your picture with him, and it was back in 1989. Were you guys playing somewhere together, or what was that one about?
Well, we did have the wonderful opportunity of having John get up on stage with us and do a song with us. He and Tico actually got up and played with us. We did "Give Me Some Lovin'," the old Spencer Davis song. They were playing at a gig in North Carolina. I forget maybe Greensboro, and they came to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where we were playing a gig, and the whole band came, drove in a van with a guy who was our manager at the time who worked for them. And John, you know, we'd given him, he and Richie, our demo back then before we had our record deal, and they liked it. They took some interest in it, and they, you know, whenever they came around in our region of the country, they'd invite us to the show. They'd bring us backstage and talk a little business with us, give us some advice. You know, that particular night, they came on down to the show and got up on stage with us. There was another time where they all came out and saw us in Charlotte, North Carolina, when our guy from L.A. was supposed to come out, but he got sick. So, but the whole Bon Jovi band came out, and unfortunately, John Kolodner didn't make it, but.
Right.
But that's okay. Everything kind of turned out okay for us. But John and the guys, Richie, were great people. Always were, you know, accommodating to you know, let us into the show, hang out with us, and like I said, give us advice. I mean, I sat down with Richie for 3 hours after one of their shows one time. He just kept on telling me about his guitar tone and how to get a good guitar tone, how to sing better. You know, I was just giving him 20 questions, but it turned into like 20,000 questions. And he just sat there, and I've never met anybody who was that successful, who was that nice and kind and helpful.
Right. Oh, that's awesome to hear. I love that. And, you know, I know it was kind of a selfish question for me to ask because I've always been, you know, a huge fan of them. But really, when I saw all the pictures, I thought, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This is great. I love it. And so, and then you have Mark Harmon. You have a picture. How in the world did you meet Mark Harmon?
We were on the same flight, landing in Montana, and he's got a summer home up there. And, I just said, would you mind if I get a picture with you? He said, sure. I said, well, you know, and I told him, I said, the whole band's here. And it turns out that he is related to the Nelson brothers. And I'm like, oh, yeah,
wow.
Matt and Gunnar, they're the coolest.
Right.
You know? So we talked about that a little bit and got a picture with him. And, yeah, what a cool guy. I mean, he was one of those guys that, you know, once we felt like, okay, we've overstayed our welcome talking, he's still, you know, going like, so where are you guys playing out here? You know, so he was taking a little summer vacation out there, and it was awesome.
That's really cool. I love when you get to meet people that you've been a fan of, that you've enjoyed watching over the years, and then they are really nice to you, and they, you know, it's pretty incredible. I actually had a flight with Kip Moore not too long ago, and I was trying to keep the fangirl part of me tucked away, and so I left him alone, but at the very end, I was like, okay, I got to get a picture. So I asked him, and he was really, really nice about it. But, you know, those moments I think are really great, and the fact that you've had them too, it's pretty fun to hear, and I think all the fans appreciate it. And, you know, you connect with your fans too is something else that I've seen, and you're very creative with, you know, how you offer things to them. And I've never seen anything like it before, even with your MP3 sales. You know, how you offer your packages and your deals, and, you know, if they donate, you know, on your page to get a song, and then you're going to send them, you know, you send them gifts. It's just very intriguing to me. What made you decide to do that?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, we're as artists, you want everybody to have your art. You know,
Right.
you don't want to just necessarily give it away. In this day and age with digital, you know, with Napster that started back then, and now music's kind of free. There still are people out there that still want to support an artist because we got to eat too, you know. So when anybody does donate something to my on my website, you know, $1 for a song, I always try to send them an extra song so that I try, you know, give them more than what they're expecting to get, so that people will go, you know, that was cool, you know, and then maybe the good karma will spread out throughout the universe, and if not necessarily come back on me, it'll go from that person to be kind to another person, and then you know, it'll make the world a better place. But I, you know, as far as, you know, selling MP3s on my website, I was trying to figure out a way to do it so that people could go to my website and just download my songs directly instead of having to go over to iTunes, which I think Apple and iTunes is a great service. But you know, it's an extra step the person has to go through. I can sell them for cheaper on my website, and Apple doesn't take the 30%.
Exactly.
So it helps the artist directly if you get it directly from the artist, you know, and nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. I think it's great. And, you know, I mean, the fact that you're giving back to your fans too, and for them supporting you, I think is really incredible. And I wish more people would actually do that. You know, it's great. And yes, you know, the iTunes and all of those services are great, but definitely buying things firsthand from the artist is always the better way to go, in my opinion. You know,
the music business changes so much. I mean, as it changes every day, you blink your eyes and everything's changed in it again. You know, we have to come up with, as artists, we have to come up with creative ways to get the fans to continue to support us and buy our music. And you know, I look back at it like a guy like Frank Zappa, who was just, I think, the most amazing artist that's ever come up. I mean, this guy wrote stuff that was just so brilliant, and he had his own record company, and he didn't sell, you know, as many records as Bon Jovi, let's say, but because it was his own art. He didn't have a boss telling him how to make his own records. He didn't have a marketing guy saying, hey, you got to do this, and you got to do it this way, you got to do this. He did it his own way. He put it out himself on his own record label, and he wasn't beholden to anyone. And that's kind of what I want to do, is just, you know, I'll never be as good as Frank Zappa, but I can go follow the path that he kind of created, which was do it your own way, put it out yourself. If you sell 5, you sell 5. If you sell 5 million, hey, you sell 5 million.
Right.
But at least you don't have the boss telling you, you know, what you got to do.
Exactly. Well, I'm so impressed with everything you're doing thus far. And, you know, what do you have coming up for the fans that they can follow you and catch you guys? Where are you going to be next?
Well, the next Firehouse gigs are in Iowa, January 22nd and 23rd. We're in Clear Lake, Iowa, at the Surf Ballroom on the 22nd, which is a legendary venue. And we're in Riverside, Iowa, on the 23rd. We're the first gig I told you about, we're playing with the Bullet Boys. The second gig, we're playing with Rat.
Oh, nice.
And so we're that's cool. And as far as my solo career, you know, the weekday part of my gig, I'm going to be, you know, I'm halfway done with my 5th solo album. I'll probably have the other half of it done by the summer.
Oh, wow.
And I'm almost ready to record the 6th song. I've just got to finish getting some final touches on the writing of it. And so what I've been doing is releasing a single. You know, as soon as I finish the song, I'll put out the single. As soon as I get 10 singles, I'll put out an album. So this will be the 5th solo album. And thank you. And I like it. I like doing it that way because you can really focus on one song instead of going, okay, now I'm going to go in the studio and record 10. Well, you can think about the one song you're working on and just put all your energy into that. And then the other people that you bring in to help you record it, they're focusing on the one song as well. So I'll get better results that way.
Well, and I think too, the fans stay interested, and okay, we all, especially here in California, that's where I'm at right now. Everybody is impatient. Nobody wants to wait. And so by you doing that, you're actually, you're keeping them going. And I think that's a really great thing. So, and that's another creative thing that I don't see anyone else doing. You're releasing a song at a time, and then as soon as you have it done, you're releasing an album. That's to me, that's genius. I love that.
Well, thank you. I have to say also that one of the things that I am really blessed to have is a really creative wife who is really good and self-taught at making videos. So nowadays, when you put out a song, it's really not enough to just say, hey, here's my iTunes link. Go take a listen to the 30-second sound clip. I can put a video up on YouTube, and with her creativity and her expertise in putting it all together and editing it and all that stuff, it'll look like it was done by somebody who's been doing it for a long time. So that's
well, kudos to her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you gave her credit, because I don't think enough people give credit to others. And you, all over your entire website, you are giving credit to everybody. You're giving credit to people you've learned from, and you praise them all. And I just think that's really a great thing. And really, you are definitely a special musician and artist, and I think that I just need to give you credit on that, because there's not enough people out there that are like you, and your mind just fascinates me. So
thank you.
No,
I appreciate it.
No problem at all. And I'm so glad you took the time to talk with us today. And, just thank you for everything. And I can't wait to, get this out to the fans, and we'll make sure that we put all your links up. And it was just great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Nice talking to you too. And if any other time, I'm not hard to find. I'd love to talk to you again sometime.
Absolutely.
Stay in touch.
We will. Thank you so much. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Bye.